Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q3 and 9M FY21 earnings conference call of SVP Global Ventures Limited. This conference call may contain forward-looking statements about the company, which are based on the beliefs, opinions, and expectations of the company as on the date of this call. These statements are not the guarantees of future performance and involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Major General O.P. Gulia, President of SVP Global Ventures Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Hello, everyone. Good evening to you. First and foremost, I hope you all are keeping safe and healthy. Today on the call, I am joined by Mr. Prakash Sarogi, Executive Vice President for SVP Global Ventures, and Oriental Capital, our investor relation partners. We have uploaded our investor deck and result highlights on the stock exchanges and company website. I hope everybody had an opportunity to go through the same. Since we are doing the quarterly earnings call after a long time, I'd like to share a brief overview about SVP Global, its journey so far, and growth strategies going forward. This would be followed by operational and financial performance for the quarter and 9-month ended financial year 21. Post that, we will open the floor for question and answers. SVP Global Ventures Limited is the fastest growing multinational in cotton yarn manufacturing, and it is India's leading manufacturer of compact cotton yarn. Over the years, we have evolved from trading company into a manufacturing of highest quality of value-added compact cotton yarn Indian MNC. We carry a legacy of more than 100 years in textile business and over 200 years of combined experience of promoters and management in textile business. Today, with experienced board of directors and strong management team, SVP is India's largest manufacturer of compact cotton yarn in the world. We started our manufacturing journey with one plant in Ramnad, Tamil Nadu, to having multiple plants in India, and now have expanded our footprints with manufacturing units in Oman as well. Now I'll brief you about our 3 plants. First, our Ramnad plant in Tamil Nadu. We have yarn manufacturing capacity of 98,000 spindles in Ramnad, Tamil Nadu. The facility was acquired during 2007 and 10 and manufacturing various types of cotton and cotton blended yarn, primarily to cater for Indian domestic demand. Our current business strategy is focused on exiting out of low margin traditional yarn business and capacity expansion in high margin compact cotton yarn. Accordingly, we are gradually reducing Tamil Nadu operations while simultaneously increasing Oman capacity. This has resulted in significant improvement in EBITDA margin with stable top line revenue. What about our Jhalawad plant? We have state-of-art manufacturing facility at Jhalawad in Rajasthan with an installed capacity of 150,000 spindles and 2,400 rotors, which has been commissioned in a record time of 9 months. Jhalawad has certain advantages like the plant has manufacturing capabilities of high quality compact yarn from count 20 to 60, along with open end yarn and blended yarn. Jhalawad is in the proximity of cotton and yarn hub of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra, which enables efficient raw material procurement. Strategically located at a distance of 5 km from city center, 12 kilometers from Jhalawad airstrip and 2 kilometers from railway station. It enables easy access to logistics and supply chain from the plant. We also have easy availability of skilled manpower and other utilities for efficiency in operations. We have multiple state and central level subsidies to support our operations in Rajasthan. A brief about Oman project. SVP is also establishing a new $300 million project in Sohar Free Zone in Oman to manufacture wide range of cotton yarn of expanding its global footprints and exports. This project has been divided into two phases, with phase 1 catering for about $150 million US. It is already operational with 150,000 spindles and 3,500 rotors since 2019. We are expecting the phase 1 Oman capacity to be scaled up fully by March 21. We are further proposing phase 2 expansion at the project cost of USD 150 million to add an equivalent capacity which is existing as of today by end of financial year 2022. Phase 2 expansion is proposed to be financed in debt equity of 70-30%, that is USD 105 million in term debt and USD 55 million in equity. The working capital requirement for phase 2 will be USD 32 million in funded facilities. Oman project is one of our prestigious projects with first ever major cotton spinning unit in the entire GCC region to promote and develop textile cluster in Oman. It has exclusive state-of-the-art infrastructure equipped with latest and most modern technology from blow room to winding. We have logistical and operational efficiency arising from operations at Sohar Free Zone and will act as global trade route between Asia and Europe. This will enable easy access to markets like Turkey and Pakistan, which are not accessible from India currently due to trade barriers and political relations. Our operations are built on lean manufacturing and Industry 4.0 practices, housing the most automated machinery with artificial intelligence and IoT capabilities. Our Oman project is a green project with no smoke, effluent or wastages and has a very safe and clean environment. Let me highlight the few strategic benefits of Oman and our plan to setting up the plant there. It has the proximity to the port for ease of exports. It is a tax-free zone. Oman has an FTA with the United States. We have various subsidies for power and borrowing costs. Strategically located with low logistics cost from port to factory. Allotted land at a very competitive value. A word about our technology and quality edge. Our plants in India and Oman are equipped with most modern technology from blow room to winding with machinery sourced from Europe and India. We are proud to be in the 2% of the manufacturers of the world having technology which is less than 5 years old. Rest 98% of the yarn manufacturers are using technology which is aged more than 5 years. The state-of-the-art machinery with latest technology use artificial intelligence to enable the company to manufacture yarn of highest quality at optimal operational efficiency and result in higher operating margins in relation to traditional spinning mills. With humble pride, I would like to highlight that we are an approved supplier of IKEA, one of the largest retailer of furniture and home accessories in the world. The very prestigious registration is testament to the company's products, material and services adherence to minimum environmental, social and working conditions requirement. The registration would allow other members applying to IKEA to source their yarn requirement from the company. We also have various registrations and certifications from renowned bodies across the globe including Global Organic Textile Standards and Organic Content Standard, which signifies that we adhere to the highest quality standard of practice. Our ECG and CSR. As a responsible corporate, we are committed towards the ECG norm and have installed a 5.4 megawatt solar power plant to curb the release of CO2. Estimated power generation from there would be approximately 6.1 lakh units per year, which will enable reduction of CO2 emissions for approximately 7,317 tons of emissions. All our plants are non-hazardous orange category plant declared by Pollution Department. As our responsibility towards CSR, we have created direct employment to over 4,000 people across India and Oman with women empowerment at the center. We have generated employment for over 1,000 Omani women in phase 1. We also have provided jobs to over 250 in these difficult COVID-19 pandemic times during lockdown to support their household. Over the years, we have transformed ourselves from a trading company to a highest quality manufacturing company with continuous focus on improving profitability with each project. We have even let go some of our low margin businesses which had an impact on our revenues just to be focused on high margin profitable business. We have expanded our manufacturing footprint to India and abroad with latest technology on the block. We have shifted our product mix from traditional yarn into high margin compact cotton yarn, thus expanding EBITDA margins from 3.7% in FY16 to 13.2% in financial year 20, an increase of 950 bps. Going forward, we would like to hive off our non-core assets and monetize the same for debt reduction. Release of working capital, which will entail lean balance sheet and operations. Also expand into garmenting segment. Our near-term plan is to be an integrated textile garment manufacturer present across the entire value chain. I will now hand over to Mr. Prakash to take you through the financial and operational highlights.
Thank you, Gulia ji. Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to our earnings call. I'll take you through the financial highlights, post which we will open the floor for question and answers. In terms of revenue, ease in the restrictions of lockdown and opening up of economy leading to a steady recovery across markets, and textile is no exception to that. We witnessed a strong demand revival across the yarn market, and the volumes are near the pre-COVID levels, and we are optimistic of growth in the quarters to come. Our consolidated revenue for Q3 FY21 stood at rupees 371 crores as against rupees 386 crores in Q3 FY20, a marginal dip of 4%. Our revenues for 9 months FY21 stood at rupees 826 crores as against rupees 1059 crores in 9 months FY20. Due to the pandemic and lockdown across the country in the first half of the financial year, the figures are not comparable for 9 months FY21. Revenue mix from traditional yarn and compact yarn was 16% and 84% respectively for 9 months FY21 as compared to 25% and 75% for FY20. We continue to focus on high margin compact cotton yarn manufacturing. Our capacity utilization for Q3 FY21 were more than 95% for the installed and operational capacity for our facilities in India and Oman. With healthy order book and growth opportunities in front of us, we are optimistic of revenue and profitability growth going forward. On the EBITDA front, change in product mix towards high margin products cost rationalization initiatives, and operational efficiency led to significant margin expansion for this quarter. For Q3 FY21, our EBITDA stood at rupees 76 crores as against rupees 49 crores in Q3 FY20, a growth of 55% on a year-over-year basis. EBITDA margins for Q3 FY21 stood at 20.6% as compared to 12.8% in Q3 FY20, a significant jump of 700 basis points. Our 9-month FY21 EBITDA stood at rupees 116 crores with an EBITDA margin of 14%. On the PAT front, for the Q3 FY21, our consolidated profit after tax stood at rupees 33 crores as compared to rupees 25 crores in Q3 FY20, a growth of 35% on year-over-year basis. Our PAT margin for the quarter stood at 9%, an improvement of 260 basis points over the same period last year. On 21st January 2021, our board has considered and approved a preferential issue of warrants convertible into equity shares aggregating to rupees 235 crores to one of the promoter group entity on a preferential basis by way of private placement, which is subject to approval of the members of the company. The proceeds of the warrant we propose to use to pay debt, thereby strengthening the financial structure of the company and for other general corporate purposes as permitted by applicable laws. With this, I open the floor for discussion.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who wishes to ask a question at this time, they may please press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Tanay Shah from TS Associate. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I have certain questions. So first of all, will the company have any benefits from the PLI scheme for textile?
Which scheme, sir? Could you just repeat it?
So the production linked incentive scheme, PLI scheme for textile.
Yes, so the government has recently announced this performance linked incentive schemes, which is like, we are more into the spinning sector and with larger capacities. So we wouldn't say it is directly applicable to us, but yes, that would enhance the investment into the, the downstream chain in terms of the garmenting industry, in terms of, technical textile manufacturing and things like that. So we see that to enhance the demand for yarn as well.
Okay, fair enough. So further, any comments on what will be the margin differential from the traditional yarn and compact yarn?
Yeah, so we have historically we have experienced about margins difference of between 6 to 8% between traditional yarn manufacturing and compact yarn manufacturing.
Okay, 6 to 8%, correct. Okay, sir. And so I just like to have an idea about what will be the net debt of the company as on December 2020, and also apart from the preferential allotment that we spoke about, any other debt reduction plan for this year and the next year?
Okay, I'll take your first question first. So coming to the debt as of December, so as of 31st December 2020, we had an overall debt of around rupees 2,300 crores.
Okay.
Out of this, our secured debt is around 1770 crores, 1770 crores.
Okay.
Yeah. So our, for this debt also, our borrowing cost is relatively lower because of, various state and central subsidies which are applicable to our project in Rajasthan.
Correct.
And for Oman, we have a relatively lower borrowing cost relative to India.
Okay, sir. And sir, any debt reduction plans for this year and coming year?
Yes. So, yes, the company is focusing on overall debt reduction and is taking steps in this regard. So, one of these is, of course, we are recently issuing this preferential issue of warrants is there.
Correct.
And one of the end-use proceeds is to reduce debt.
Okay, sir. So nothing major apart from that, as in nothing concrete apart from that, right?
Yes, this is immediately which is visible, but the company has plans to reduce debt considerably over the next 1 to 2 years.
Correct, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for the opportunity. If I have any further questions, I can get back in the queue, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1 at this time. The next question is from the line of Ankit Kothari from HBK and Associates. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for giving me the opportunity to ask questions. My first question is, can you elaborate on the strategy of why we have expanded our capacities in Oman? Though you have mentioned it pretty well in the presentation, still you can you elaborate on what are the salient features and what will be our growth strategy?
You see, as we said, firstly, we are modernizing our plants. So the Jhalawad was first such plant which was modernized. Then we shifted to the Oman. Oman gave us a lot of advantages. The first is the location itself. It's strategically located in geopolitics sphere. It connects Europe, even America, and this side Asia. So it's the central point from where all the trade takes part. As I said earlier, the certain countries which are not reachable from here for exports are easily reachable from Oman. Also, the manufacturing cost or the operational cost are lesser out there. The land cost we have got at very competitive prices. The power tariffs are almost half what we get it in India. And the labor and other incentives which the country has given, it has given us access to all the GCC countries, the market out there, since there were no textile manufacturing companies out there. So all these 6 put together have given us tremendous advantage to go there and show our footprint across the globe.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to my next question. Can you also speak on the margin expansion and product mix? What are the major drivers for margin expansion and what are the technological edge over other peers?
Yes. So basically, I'll for the margin. First of all, let me tell you that over the last years we have moved from traditional yarn manufacturing to compact yarn manufacturing. So that is what is the change in the product mix what we have had, right? So back in when we were in 2007, at that time, we had a high proportion of our revenue coming from traditional yarn, and now it's just the opposite. So we had 16% of coming from compact yarn initially in 2017, which now currently we are doing around almost 1585. That is 15% in traditional yarn, and in fact, if I give you the figures for the last 9 months, we have done 16% in traditional yarn and 84% in compact yarn.
Okay.
Relative to 17% of traditional yarn and 17% of compact yarn and 83% of traditional yarn in 2016-17. So that is one of the change in the product mix what we are having. Due to this, if you see, our EBITDA margins that has had an impact on our EBITDA margins, which is Actually, if you see in 2017, our EBITDA margin was 6.1%, and today for FY20, it is 13.2%. So that is a rise in 710 basis points.
And this technical advantage which you asked, the new machinery gives us, which is applying this artificial intelligence, it has reduced the labor cost tremendously. The power consumption is much lesser than the traditional machines and traditional yarn manufacturing. Also, the quality which it produces is much superior than the traditional yarn, and the wastage of the cotton, the material, the cotton wastage has reduced tremendously. So all these 3-4 things put together and use of AI has given us tremendous edge in getting us operational cost advantage.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on, the last question from my side is, Oman will, cater the Indian markets, or it will be a major export hub for the company. So, and that will have margin expansion and controlled debt going forward.
Yeah, so currently we are focusing our Indian operations to cater to domestic demand. And Oman, of course, that's a 100% export-oriented unit. So we are catering to the international markets through Oman because of, as Mr. Guliaji spoke about, of the various logistical efficiencies we have there, which considerably reduces the lead time in reaching out to end-user markets.
Correct. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity at this platform.
Thank you. Any participants who wish to ask a question at this time, they may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Giriraj Tata from KM Besaria Family Trust. Please go ahead. Giriraj, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead with the question. As there is no response, we will move to the next participant.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Sorry.
Please go ahead.
So my question was a couple of questions from my side. Can you give me the breakup of 9 months revenue with regard to Oman, Jhalawar plant, and your first plant at Ramnad?
Currently, we are, we are speaking more on a consolidated line. So I think if we speak about our Rajasthan plant is fully operational, so the revenue is fully reflected there. And similarly for our Oman operations, we are expecting full scale up of operations by FY21. So you know that the normal revenues in this industry is 1x to the capex what is installed. So Oman, we are having a capex of around 1,000 crores. That is what we have done. That's around $150 million for phase 1.
No, I know, but I just want to understand how much 9 months revenue we have from Oman.
I think we can take the details offline later on.
I'll tell you where I'm coming from. If I look at your revenue picture, so earlier we used to do trading also. So and that's why we had a revenue of 1,700-1,800 crore also, which touched 2,500 crore in March 18. But when I look at our last ATM number, we are doing a run rate of 370-380 crore. So what is the situation there? How much the trading has been stopped now, and have we stopped trading completely now, or are we doing some trading scale? So that is the way. That is why I want to understand the revenue segment wise.
Yeah. So basically, trading definitely we have reduced over the years, whether in Oman or India. And in terms of the yarn manufacturing, relative to whatever capex we have already incurred in Oman for phase 1, $150 million, which was what I talked about. So we are looking at another 200 to 300 crores growth in the revenue basically, which will be for the capex we have already incurred.
Okay. Have you commissioned Oman unit?
Yes. So we have started commercial production from Oman. For the rotors unit, we have that's already installed and running at more than 95% capacity. And we have started on the spindles unit. We started in October 2019, and then the scale up is in process. And due to this COVID-19, there has been a slight delay in terms of full scale up, but we are expecting that to be completed by March 21. The installations are happening right now, so it should be done in 1 to 2 months maximum. I think March we are expecting, yes.
And phase 2 capex we are expecting in 82 complete capex, right? 1,000 crore,
Yes.
another
So
1,000.
phase 2 is additional $150 million project, which will be just a replica of phase 1, what we have already completed. Phase 2 capex we are expecting to be incurred by we are starting by that end of 22 financial year, that is 21-22, end of 21-22, we are expecting the phase 2 to be implemented.
So we will so we have started capex on phase 2, or we will start only in the month of in a few months down the line?
No, so we have a proposed capex during FY 21-22 for phase 2. That's $150 million.
Okay. So this CWIP of 700 crore, it is pertaining to what as of September balance sheet?
Yeah. So this in September balance sheet, what we are showing, that is relative to Oman phase 1, what we have already started. That is reflecting the revenue there. And sorry, can you repeat your question?
So CWIP we had a 700 crore number.
Yes.
On September 20, and Oman had already commissioned last year.
Yeah, that is pertaining to phase 1, Oman phase 1.
Oman, you believe spindles have already commissioned last year, right? October 19.
Rotors we have already started.
Okay.
And spindles we are in the process of scaling up gradually. Yeah.
Okay. What is that number you mentioned? I missed that number.
We can come back to you on the capex and financials. Yeah, and we can take it offline for further details.
Sure. What is the last thing from my side? What is the debt number you mentioned?
Yeah, so as of 31st December, we have 2,300 crores of debt, which includes around 1,770 crores of secured debt out of that.
Okay. This is including all long-term, short-term?
This is everything. 2,300 crores is including your long-term debt, short-term debt, secured debt, and unsecured debt.
Okay. Sure. We'll connect offline also.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to our participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Manan Mehta from Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. So just 2 questions. So one is regarding just the follow-up of the last question. So the debt that we have, so we are currently raising warrants. Will this, so the warrants, the funds that will be raised, would that be used to reduce debt or for some kind of expansion?
Yes. So right now, we have given the issue proceeds of the warrants. We have one of the uses could be reduction in debt, and or also we are looking at it could also be used for funding our new capex overseas.
Okay, so it still hasn't been confirmed?
Yes. So we have, as per whatever our board has approved, we have approved these purpose and for any other general corporate purpose. But the strategy of the company moving forward is to reduce the debt.
Okay. And so one more question is regarding our garmenting segment. So what are our targets for that segment, and which is the product segment that we will look to enter into?
Yeah. So we have a proposed garmenting project in Oman right now, and we basically the idea is to become an integrated manufacturing player. And that is the reason why we have gone to the garmenting segment. So basically this will be more on the apparel side, garmenting and apparel side. So in terms of your shirts and other apparels which is used in the local markets there in Oman and also for the European and US.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Chirag Mehta from Chirag A. Mehta and Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. So I had a privilege of visiting our small plant in Muscat when I was at Muscat, and I'm a chartered accountant there. So I just had one query that when I saw the plant, I could see that we have opened a learning center where we are training the Omanis ladies and young boys for the employment purpose and all that. So my only question is right now we may be paying them the stipends and all that, so maybe our human resource cost may be little bit lesser. But once they are on the payroll of the company and the Omanization kicks in, and what will be the impact on EBITDA and overall financial profitability of the company? Because Omanization, they have minimum wages to be paid, which is definitely higher than what is being paid to the expatriates. So I would like to know what will be the impact of that, because I understand that there are approximately 300, 400 Omanis we are being training there, and of which I understand that most of them has to be absorbed in the job based on the training program and the funding which the government is giving for training them. So can you throw light on that?
Sure. So basically we have established a world-class training center there at the Sohar plant, and we have taken a target to train, empower, and give guaranteed job employment to these 1,000 Omani women. Now, in relation to the costs for absorbing these employees, we have already factored it in our project assumptions. The project report was developed by Itcott Consultancy, and the assumptions were validated by PwC. So, we have already, taken the costs into our assumptions, and so that's already considered.
Okay. And I would like to just appreciate that, I have visited the plant, and I really say that it's a very world-class plant. Managed the plant and very organized. I was very impressed with that. And best of luck to the company.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. And this initiative of training these women is also a unique initiative because this skill required is not so high. So we said, okay, give us the women who are not so well educated. So even the person who is little less skilled and less educated can get employment out of this plant. So this has become very popular in Oman.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because I have been associated with a couple of the government organization there, and really the efforts by the company has been very well appreciated, because the Oman government really wants, some companies basically from India or anywhere to help them, employ their own local resources as well as train them, educate them, and as you rightly said, I could also understand from that a lot of Omanis, the women who were employed, they were not very highly literate, but still, they were very happy, because I spoke to a couple of them, and they were also very happy about the company's initiative, and that is why the government and everybody is giving their support to the company, and I could see a lot of export arrangements, everything going very well there. So I was very, very impressed with, and being Indian, I was very proud that such an Indian company, had made a mark for themselves in that country. So I was very, very happy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be the last question for today. I now hand the conference over to Major General O.P. Gulia for closing comments. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending the conference. We enjoyed presenting our results to you, and it was a pleasure to take on the questions, and I hope we could answer you to your satisfaction. And if there are any more questions or some of this which we could not answer, we will be glad to go offline and respond to you what are the questions. With the growth opportunities we foresee in domestic and export front, we believe we are all positioned to capitalize on this opportunity. Once again, I thank everyone for joining us. I hope we have been able to answer all your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of SVP Global Ventures Limited, that concludes today's call. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.